This is Muriwai Beach in New Zealand. This is a sheep, and this is Gandalf. Most people come to New Zealand to check out the country's unmatched beauty and to get their Middle-earth fix. And that makes perfect sense. But on this trip, I'm hunting for something else, something less obvious. I'm after the innovations being brought to life behind these doors, in these buildings, and in this studio. I'm heading out on a 400-mile journey across New Zealand's North Island, from Auckland to Wellington, to find the most breathtaking inventions these Kiwis have cooked up. You said it wasn't going to be Friday. This is the first one that's going to go up.
Yep. The computer model has just become conscious of something.
On this episode of Hello World, we'll check out a mad scientist, some rockets, and an AI baby.
Hi, baby. Hi.
That will either warm your heart or leave you weeping over humanity's grim future. Silicon Valley may be home to some of the biggest tech giants in the world, but it's being challenged like never before. Crazy tech geniuses have popped up all over the planet, making things that will blow your mind. My name is Ashlee Vance. I'm an author and journalist, and I'm on a quest to find the most innovative tech creations and meet the beautiful freaks behind them.
Hello World.
Oh, hello, Sky Phallus. This is Auckland, the home to 1.5 million of New Zealand's 4.5 million people. People living outside of Auckland tend to knock it as congested and hectic. Meanwhile, people living in Auckland celebrate the way of life it offers.
Oh, here's that gelato place everybody's trying to go to.
The city has a bustling food scene. There's a gorgeous harbor surrounded by fertile volcanic land. And those gannets and black sand beaches you saw earlier, they're just a half-hour drive from downtown. And this next part's gonna sound cheesy, but honest to God, it's true. Auckland is full of cheery, optimistic people. You feel good when you're here. Like you can do stuff, big stuff, crazy stuff. Like, say, replicating human consciousness on the inside of a computer.
Face. It's our primary means of communication.
Yeah.
But it's been untapped in terms of a human-computer interface.
How can I help you?
A computer can express itself to you in a human-like way, which is emotional, it's cognitive.
No. No.
That's when you start getting to this sort of interesting place.
Going to see an AI baby on a sunny afternoon. The fellow you meet next is a madman in the best possible way.
You're going to pull the muscles which basically lower the brow.
He's Mark Sager, a computer scientist at the University of Auckland.
So nose wrinkler would be, yeah, let's do the nose wrinkler. Punch his nose up.
Mark became famous for building super detailed simulations of the human body and ended up winning a couple of Oscars for his work on films like Avatar and King Kong.
So let's go here and, you know.
These days, Mark is, how to put this, trying to reverse engineer the human brain. He's built a series of simulations around how the human face moves, how we express emotion, and how our neurons fire.
We're trying to build a computer which has experiences, can imagine, and basically it has its own sort of existence in a way. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to run Baby X. What we're building here is a computer that can learn. So this is Baby. She's sort of looking at us and hearing us. So if I make a loud noise, you know, she'll get a fright. This is what she can see. So you can see my face here. Hey, see that? Right. So she's not copying my smile, she's responding to me. And now this is her little baby's first word book. So you can pick a page, you know, show her something, but she has to be looking at it. So get her attention.
Hi, baby. Hi. 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 What do you see? What's this?
Puppy.
Puppy. Very good. What's that, baby?
Apple.
This is because we're in New Zealand. You've got to show her a sheep.
Yeah, I'll give her the word, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Hi, baby. Hi. What do you see, baby?
Sheep.
Sheep. Very good, baby.
Now, the long-term goals is, can we create a computational model of consciousness? Because then you can go, okay, the computer model has just become conscious of something. Is that thought or not?
Yeah.
Now, all the facial expressions, everything's driven by neural nets. So as we look around, what I'm going to do now is remove her face, basically. And so this is what's driving in the background. And so what you're looking at now, these are all the connections lighting up, right, as the baby's doing stuff.
And this is like a simulation of what would be happening in a person's brain.
Yeah, because if you're going to make a character biological and behave naturally, then you've got to use a natural model. So that's the sort of what's going on inside baby eggs. Now we take this stuff and we now connect it to cognitive computing systems. So you've got biological neural networks connected to artificial intelligence models, and the potential for that's enormous. That's where the future's probably going to be.
Maybe.
There's a term New Zealanders have for possessed inventor types like Mark. They're part of the country's number 8 wire culture. Like so many things here, the story of number 8 wire goes back to those sheep. Farmers used to make their fences out of 8 wire gauge metal. Then, they started to use the wire to fix just about any problem on the farm. Over time, a number 8 wire mythology evolved to capture the can-do spirit of people living in a remote place and of a people who had to solve problems in any clever way they could. But while New Zealanders remain fond of the 8 wire idea, there's an undeniable sense that the country is ready to level up. It's time to start inventing with more purpose and polish. The gritty garage workshop is giving way to this. A pristine mad scientist lab that looks like it could be for sale in an Apple store. Sir Ray Avery embodies Kiwi ingenuity. He's a prolific scientist and inventor.
Sir Avery, this is Ashlee Vance.
He made a fortune in the pharmaceutical industry and then decided to dedicate his life to helping the world's poorest people. Hence, the Sir.
All right, this way.
It's a cool house.
Right, those are the magic wardrobe.
I followed Sir Avery through a wardrobe door into his garage/lab where he creates his objects.
I noticed everything in the house is white and you're wearing white.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit like Steve Jobs. I have 2 dresses. I have black for winter and white for summer. But the thing is that I know that I've got 4,795 days left to live.
How do you know that?
Well, because I've done an algorithm analysis of somebody my age, born at my time, how much Chardonnay I drank, all that sort of shit. So I know what I'm going to do with the next 10 years of my life. Failure is really just for people who are unprepared. You don't waste time on things that aren't going to get you to where you need to go. Things like clothes.
Sir Avery is well known for taking complicated medical devices and making them simple, cheap, and durable.
Did you make this in here?
Yeah.
This is your workshop, lab, everything.
Yeah.
Currently, he's working on this incubator.
It's really is a life pod because it's almost like, something that Superman would be happy to be in. And the shape of it is really much more about getting even air distribution and trying to make it look cool.
The Life Pod costs $2,000 versus $40,000 for typical incubators. The hope is that it could save thousands of lives each year.
I'll show you, this is really cool. And this is,
Oh my God.
it's just pretty ugly stuff.
He also has this giant block of frozen chicken slurry as a way to amplify the nutritional value of trash meat.
So that's after Kentucky Fried have taken all their bits, the legs and the chest meat, they make it into this stuff.
Chicken slurry.
Just have a spoonful of that later.
Sir Avery mixes the trash meat with, of all things, kiwi. This breaks it down into the basic amino acids so your body can absorb the nutrients more easily. It's aimed at helping malnourished children.
If you take that, then you're going to get instant energy. You don't need to digest it. It goes straight across your gut. This will save millions and millions of kids' lives. Einstein said the most elegant solution is always the most simplest. And Kiwis have a very practical way of doing things. If you take away the noise that you have often with things like Silicon Valley, and you just have a bunch of guys in sheds with a lathe and a few bits and pieces, they come up with stuff that nobody else has thought of.
Coming up, we'll take a look at rockets.
This is a dream come true. I've always wanted to be in the book.
And I'll cheat death.
I'm hoping that I live after this relaxing afternoon.
One of New Zealand's most adventurous and affable inventors is a Scottish import named Richard Little.
We know there's probably about 5 million people around the world that could benefit from using a Rex.
He's one of 2 engineers who started Rex Bionics.
My best friend was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and we're going to need to use a wheelchair in his future. I said, why don't we build your robot legs? So we spent 4 years in the garage and we actually got something working. It could sit and it could stand and it could walk. We knew then we would be able to do this. So the thing you'll notice with the Rex, of course, right away is it's self-supporting. And it's the only device of its kind like that. And because of that, most of the people who use Rex are spinal cord injured, although it can be any mobility impairment. If you stand in it, if you push the joystick forward and let it go, you'll take 1 step and stop. If you keep holding it forward, it'll keep moving forward.
Okay. What does the red button do?
That's the emergency stop. So if it all turns to custard, press the red button.
Okay.
So if you push it forward and let it go, that's it. And you're going to lean to that side.
Okay. Whoa. It's crazy. I mean, you really don't have to put in any
You don't do anything.
Yeah.
No. You're going to do a wee Michael Jackson impression.
This is Jared. He lost the use of his legs in a car accident 10 years ago and is now a Rex employee, customer, and test driver.
How long would you use it each day?
Use it for an hour a day. It'll give me a couple of days pain relief off my lower back.
It's safe and it's gentle on the skin, it's gentle on the bones. When you sit in a wheelchair all the time, you know, you lose bone density. It causes skin issues, bowel, bladder. And the act of walking helps resolve it.
I've taken it home and walked into my local bar because I wanted to, walk back in there for the first time, have a drink with my mates standing up around a bar leaner and...
Do the people at the bar all want to try it?
Yeah, they do. Everyone wants to have a turn, yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna make it.
Later, we raced up Mount Eden to catch the sunset. It's here, on top of a volcano, that you're reminded how young this landscape and people are. Industry only began here in earnest in the 1850s, and yet New Zealand has come an awfully long way. And the next stop for New Zealand, that would be space.
I think New Zealanders don't think big enough. They don't go after the really big problems and the big billion-dollar ideas. I started building rockets when I was at school. And the very first rocket that I built, I ended up putting on a bicycle.
Most rocket companies are started by wealthy governments and billionaires. Rocket Lab was started in 2007 by this maniac, Peter Beck. Peter is one of the most capable people on the planet. He never went to college, opting instead to hone his own engineering craft in the garage and machine shops.
Oh, I don't know why rockets make me so happy.
Yeah, I know.
Now, he wants to make it much easier and cheaper to put small satellites into space.
If you had a satellite on your lap right now, in 1 week, I can have that in orbit. Moreover, I can have that in orbit an order of magnitude less cost than any other way of getting it there.
The first rocket launch will take place later this year.
Wow, this is the first one that's gonna go up.
Yep.
Commercial customers have already signed up, and there's a 2-year waiting list.
How much are you gonna charge per flight?
We're $4.9 million.
Okay.
$4.9 million might seem like a lot, but it's actually a remarkable figure.
And liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket and Dragon.
The cheapest way to get to space today is on one of Elon Musk's rockets from SpaceX, and that costs $60 million per trip.
Propulsion performing nominally.
Rocket Lab's prices would open space to a whole new set of customers, including scientists and businesses, and, in effect, democratize space. This is what the aerospace world has dreamed of for decades.
This is the second stage?
Second stage, yep.
You can lift it up.
Yep.
You rolled your eyes a little bit at this 8-wire thing. Why is that?
If someone says, you know, Rocket Lab is a number 8-wire company, they'll get escorted off the site. They're just gone. Because number 8-wire, it's about sort of bodging stuff together to make it work. And that's really not what New Zealanders have evolved to. It's about really high-tech innovation and doing really, really clever things.
With launch day approaching, the pressure is on. Today, they're running an engine test at a site near the Auckland airport.
So the worst case scenario
It
is
blows
it
up.
blows up. And the best case is, how does it deal
It'll
with
shut
the-
down. Building a company is hard.
Yeah.
Building a rocket company, damn near insane.
I hitched a ride with Peter to the test site and arrived just in time for countdown.
3, 2, 1.
The engine test was successful, but there's still a ways to go.
What does it feel like in your gut with that countdown clock in the office and everything that comes
I don't
with?
sleep much. That's probably the best answer to that question.
With a bit of luck, Peter will maintain his sanity through 2017. That's when Rocket Lab plans to start flying for paying customers. This is a tiny company of 100 people that will have bested entire nations and firmly put New Zealand's stamp on the world. That's not 8-wire culture. That's just flat out amazing. And with that, it's now time to leave Auckland and journey to Middle Earth. We could have flown from Auckland to Wellington, and it would have taken an hour, but we wanted to be basted in Hobbit vibes. We had to see the land.
Road trip!
Dear laptop, New Zealand is everything they said it would be. Plus burgeros.
Smells like feet, tastes like pork rind.
If aliens ever visit Earth and want to see what it has to offer, their first stop would have to be New Zealand. It's like a sampler platter of landscapes. Rolling hills, deserts, plains, tropical forest, whizzing by one after another. That's it for now. Thanks for listening, laptop. Love, Ashlee. Three hours outside of Auckland, we made a pit stop at a hot spring.
All the signs leading into this place warn you that you'll get meningitis if you stick your head underwater. I'm hoping that I live after this relaxing afternoon. Now, the more I learn about the meningitis, the more afraid I am that I have the meningitis. You know, you come to New Zealand and it's all 8-wire culture, you can send up rockets. Next thing you know, you dunk your head underwater and then you're dead. So, lesson learned. This mud is cool. Just reminds me of all the swimming around in my brain.
Coming up next on Hello World,
Action.
I steal Peter Jackson's camera
It's too late. You've got to run for safety.
and get sucked into virtual reality. Welcome to a rainy and famously windy Wellington, New Zealand's capital city and home to a thriving film industry. Director Peter Jackson is the local boy made good. He famously made Lord of the Rings here and then shot past being a one-hit wonder. Peter's created an entire movie industry based around his film production company, Weta. This is Wellywood. It's just like Hollywood, but without any of the glitz and glamour. Studio lots and sound stages are dull and unmarked. They're tucked into a quiet suburb called Miramar. Weta has started to expand into virtual reality, and I was invited to take a look at their first VR movie, a scene from The Hobbit where Smaug wakes up from a nap.
You said it wasn't going to be Friday.
Thief in the shadows.
It's crazy, man. I mean, you feel like real emotions when you see it.
That's the nice thing with VR. People get such a much more emotional experience than seeing something like in a video game or whatever. And I think that's kind of where the space we're in, the content generation and the custom technology on the software side to kind of enable these high-end experiences.
Next, the studio where they filmed Lord of the Rings,
I just want to grab that and have a look around.
where I got a crash course in motion capture filmmaking using Peter Jackson's very own custom-made camera, which isn't really a camera, but more of a device to place a director in a virtual world. There's a screen on the top that shows a rough version of the final graphics, while dozens of sensors around the room record all of the camera's movements.
All you've got to do is yell action.
Yep.
They'll do their stuff, and you say cut like any other film.
Action.
Get inside, get inside! Yes, just grab the stuff. And the box? Yes, the box. Good,
All right.
okay.
It's too late. You've got to run for safety.
This tech brings a human element back to green screen filmmaking.
Back this way, back this way.
It's more tactile.
We got to run towards the waterfall.
It makes the director actually feel like he's shooting the film again.
All right, cut. Really good sport. Thanks.
Weta became an industry of its own, and after the success of Lord of the Rings, spawned startups that are their own mini-Wetas.
I'm Ashlee.
On my last stop, I went to one of these startups, 8 Studios. It's a VR company that is recording people in 3 dimensions to bring them into virtual reality.
The difference from looking at a video to seeing a hologram that looks just like the real thing is so powerful.
8 is developing software that will bring VR to the masses. The day you can capture a loved one in virtual space is almost here.
We'll show you some experiences where we've captured some humans with off-the-shelf cameras. It feels like you're in the room with a person.
Can I check it out?
Sure. All right, so you can see the room?
Yep.
All right, so.
Oh, hello.
We create a virtual environment, but then we capture a very lifelike motion of the cloth and the human performance, and we can compose those together.
So you'd been at Weta and we're used to making these CGI fantastic creatures, but it just wouldn't work for a normal person to have to...
You don't want to drop a visual effects Hollywood production budget just to record your child experiencing their first steps.
Right.
And as we saw that these headsets were coming along, there was no clear, efficient, cheap, scalable solution to capture reality and to author experiences at a scale and at a realism and at a pace that would create a similar sort of content database for people to enjoy. Let's see how your fear of heights is.
So this is gonna be like a movie. Oh my God. That's crazy, because I'm sort of like afraid of heights usually. Oh, no. I mean, I felt like I was gonna like walk off a cliff. That was really frightening.
Although I was a bit skeptical, it was time to scan myself so I could meet the virtual Ashlee.
Which way do I look? Like this way?
You don't have to look anywhere.
Okay.
You're captured from all angles.
sides.
So have fun.
And I just have to stay in the circle.
Pretty much.
I was surrounded by 30 cameras, all perfectly spaced and measured. It was like an OCD paparazzi.
I'm Ashlee Vance, except I'm not really Ashlee Vance. I'm a digital asset that's being made at 8 Eyes Studios.
And then in post, they put together all those different angles to make a final 3D version of me. If you want to get really nerdy, this is called volumetric cinematography. Just for the nerds.
Hands in pockets. Hands in pockets.
It's my little virtual friend. So I get to see my virtual self today.
You've seen yourself many, many times in 2D video, so.
I think I'm gonna be underwhelmed. I think I'm just gonna see what I always look like in the mirror. I don't know why seeing like a 3D version of yourself would be a big deal. I would much rather be chased by smog. So I can just walk around now?
Yeah.
That's kind of strange. The detail's insane. I mean, you can see like whiskers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the cameras are just that good.
And we're looking to increase that resolution as well.
Give yourself a smooch.
Step into yourself.
Oh no, that is crazy. Whoa, I also did not know where I was in the room. So I thought it would be really janky, and I mean, it is lifelike, you know, and so that, I guess, was the biggest surprise for me.
So do you think people are going to want VR to be human?
I've got 2 boys, and they grow up so quick, and it's like, oh man, if you could just remember how they talked and their gestures and the funny things, they said that would be really cool.
Here's the thing about New Zealand. Its economy today depends on sheep, cows, and tourists. And everyone knows that needs to change. Technology is the country's future. Thanks to companies like Rocket Lab, Rex Bionics, and 8 Eye, the change is already underway. Foreign investors have started to pour money into New Zealand, and engineers are staying at home because there are good jobs to be had. If you're an outsider looking to come here, well, why not? The scenery is breathtaking, the weather is good, and the 8-wire days have passed. New Zealand is taking on some of the hardest problems in the industry. It's working on the technology of the absurd. On the next episode of Hello World, I go to Sweden and hang out with moose hunters at the Arctic Circle.
That's amazing.
Take over the country's electrical grid.
Seems incredible to me as the 2 people would handle half a country's power.
And eat cinnamon buns with Spotify's Daniel Ek.
You like him?
Seems more wholesome than like a Cinnabon. Yeah.